friends, welcome to CJ Reads Books. I'm CJ, and today we're talking about Divergent by Veronica Roth. So, at first, I did not dig or vibe with this novel in the slightest. I was miles away from it, and there are still some issues I have with this novel, but Miss Veronica brings the story to a different plotline than all the other faction-filled violent novels there are. But before we get too in-depth, let's get into it. Now, before we get too far into it, this is categorized as a young adult dystopian adventurous romance. So I believe that novels can work without the romance aspect of it. You don't need to kiss or make out or do stuff like that to be able to tell that you have feelings for someone, even if they're romantic feelings. That being said, I didn't mind this one too much. There was no coitus, but a lot of kissing, a lot of unnecessary making out, and stuff like that. This genre and this type of storyline drives me up the wall and beyond, mainly because you're teaching people that it's okay to split each other off into different parts and just stick with your team instead of all coming together and working together as a team. Now, I did change my mind about this book last, let's say, 250 pages. It did get better, and it did display those qualities that I just talked about. That being said, the first 80 pages was really slow. Yes, it was introducing the new world, the dystopianness of it, but the buildup was really, really slow. Now on page 22, I like to see where the title comes from. There's the title, da 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 da. So like I said, the different factions that they have and then disowning each other because they're not this or they're not that gave me a bad taste in my mouth at first, but the more I read it, the more story development and character development that went along with it, the more I actually could jive with it. It was pretty good. It flew by really quickly after the fact. So yeah, I wrote another story about belonging, becoming a bad girl, etc., etc. You know, an innocent bystander needing to toughen up, become bad and stuff. It's so overused. But like I said before, the way that she takes her plot, I was quite impressed with because I was going to DNF the book about halfway in, and then I kept reading because weekends are usually slow reading days for me because I get to spend it with my honey. My son is off school, so I have to spend time with him. But so I don't get to read much during the weekends. But I ended up reading a little more today and finished the book today. So it was a good investment, and it did change my mind about the book entirely within itself. It doesn't have a back cover to it. That's all I'm gonna say about the book without any spoilers and stuff. I am really looking forward to this next one. This series is the one series in a really long time that I'm actually really excited to read the next one, and it's going to put it on my to read list immediately after I get it from the library. I enjoyed this a lot towards the end, and all thanks to Miss Veronica and her just creating her story and making her story that much so. So I rated this a 4 out of 5 stars. I know, right? From a DNF to a 4 out of 5 stars. It's incredible. The storyline just drew me in, and the characters were they formed. They finally got to a good point where I was like, I hate these characters, but oh, they're written so well. So they were formed. They did good. She did good. So yeah, if you've read this series before, tell me how you feel about it. Because I was sure I wasn't going to like it, and towards the end, I loved it. I did enjoy it a lot. Even my friend messaged me and was like, "Really, Divergent? I heard a lot of good things about it, and you don't like it?" And I'm like, "Not so far." It is a good book, and because the plot was so much more different than the, oh, this faction doesn't talk to this faction, and they're all in high school and blah blah blah. So if you read this book, please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Push all my buttons: like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Helps me out a lot. So I have some links down below. First link is I got my Etsy store. I sell blind dates with books. So if you're interested in that, check that out. Also, down below further, I've got my Patreon. If you become a paid member of my monthly Patreon, you will receive all of my YouTube uploads literally the minute after I edit them. So I've scheduled them on YouTube, but you will get them immediately here if you become a member. And third link, you can choose to buy me a coffee. If you can't do any of those three, like, share, subscribe, comment, share my book reviews with a friend that you think might like it. Any engagement helps. So thank you for reaching this far. Thank you, Robert Willem, for being the one paid Patreon member that I have. I appreciate y'all. Until next time, bye.